You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. Chris Voss here from the Chris Voss Show.com, the Chris Voss Show.com. Hey, we're coming here with another great podcast. We certainly appreciate you, as always, being on the show, because remember, the Chris Voss Show is the family that loves you but doesn't judge you. The best kind of family there is. I mean, am I right here, people? I mean, come on. The family that loves you that doesn't judge you. We should have some shirts made up for that. We're probably working on that for the next big event we'll do at CS or something like that. Today we have an amazing CEO on the show with us. Her name is Suzanne Justice, and she's going to be talking to us about her amazing company, Blake Rian Consulting. And we'll be talking to her about what's going on in the space of staffing agencies and world of hiring and everything that's going on these days. But in the meantime, we've had some amazing authors on the show, and we want to let you know that the shows, they're in the can, as we like to call it, in the film Hollywood business, but they'll be coming out very soon, so make sure you watch for them. David M Rubenstein, the first billionaire we've had on the show, was on the show recently. That will be published soon. We had, Stephen R. Covey's daughter on the show to co-write his last book. We also had one of the New York Times reporters on some amazing reporting he did, David Enrich. And coming up, we have tomorrow the governor from Massachusetts on the show for his amazing new book. So should be pretty amazing. So if you haven't referred the show to your family, friends, and relatives, see, this is the pressure campaign I just built upon. You should be telling them they need to listen to Billionaires, subscribe to the Chris Voss Show. Tell them to go to youtube.com/Chris Voss, hit the bell notification button, go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, all those places on the internet, the big 130,000 LinkedIn group, our newsletter over LinkedIn. Tell them to subscribe to all that wonderful stuff, and they should do it now. Or else. No, don't do the or else part. That's not nice. Don't do that as well. Today, an amazing CEO that we have on this show. She is the CEO of BlakeRyanConsulting.com. Suzanne has been in the staffing industry for over 16 years. She has successfully led teams for some of the largest staffing agencies in Washington and Oregon, including the second largest global staffing agency. She's placed tens of thousands of candidates in their dream jobs and in turn helped her clients find the right fit for their teams. She is very passionate about the staffing industry and enjoys building long-lasting relationships with clients and candidates, and she has an amazing origin story. She began Blake Rian Staffing in 2018 with a 15-month-old son at home and one on the way. She conquered her fear and took the leap of faith by following her dreams of entrepreneurship. She decided the name of her company soon after to be her daughter, Blake Rian. Blake Rian Consulting was incorporated directly from her living room. So this is a great story. Immediately after the decision was made, welcome to the show, Suzanne. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming. It's an honor to have you as well. Give us the .com once again so we can get that plugged.
It's BlakeRyan.com, and Rian is Rian. And then you can also follow me on Instagram, which is Suze_Justice, and then LinkedIn.
There you go. So what is Blake Rian Consulting? Tell us, give us a synopsis of who you guys are and how you do it.
Yeah, so we are a full-service staffing and recruiting company. Like you said, I've been in the industry for about 16 years. And when I started in staffing, it was very much around relationship building, making sure that you have a great relationship with your clients, heavy based on building referrals and that network. And I just noticed that in the industry, that started to kind of change a little bit. And it was more about how many orders can we get in, how many people can we place and move on to the next client. So I decided to start my own company because that's not how I wanted to do business. So we really focus on the partnership with the client, and I've built my business around, how can I fit into a client's model of what they're looking for and what they need versus telling them they have to fit into mine. I was very fortunate. When I opened my doors in 2018, I had talked to a couple of clients that I had not done business with in 5 or 6 years, but I've always kept that relationship. And they were the first ones to sign contracts with me. And I still work with them to this day.
That's awesome, Sauce. That's also a spectacular, what's the word I'm looking for? Approval or referral or a mark that, hey, we enjoy doing business with you. When I built my first company, we had clients for 13 years and our core clients were the original ones that we had. I mean, 10 or 20 really core clients that were our biggest clients that have been with us forever. And we're like, hey, people stick with us for 13 years. What does that say about us? Maybe they really hated us. That could be right. But no, that's a real testament. That was the word I was looking for to the quality of your service. What's the difference in just building relationships and partnerships as opposed to the run of the mill that you see in recruiting, where people are like, here's our model and you have to do it our way.
So I think really the big difference that you're going to find is when you have corporations that are really pushing those metrics, they're pushing the sales, you have kind of that turn and burn with, your account managers, with your recruiters, and they're not really buying into the long-term relationship piece. It's more of how quickly am I going to get my next job order in? How quickly can I fill the next seat so that I can keep everything moving and running? For us, it's really more about, we take the approach of how can we help you now, but how can we help you in the future? So how can I figure out how to understand your pipeline of what's going to be coming down a month from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, and how can we incorporate that? We look at different things for direct hire. Instead of always just doing a direct hire fee, there are clients who have so many openings, and we say, hey, why don't we come in as a managed service? Let us be your internal recruiter. You're not paying the expensive fees for every single hire. And, clients appreciate that because then they really understand that you are partnering with them and it's not about how much revenue you can make off of them.
Yeah, you're just throwing bodies at the company and going, hey, prove these things. You have a more integral relationship is the right word, I guess. An integral relationship where you're kind of working with the company, you're aligning with their values, and you kind of have that where you're, hey, it's working good together. I can't come up with the words today, evidently. It's Thursday or something, but it might be Friday.
Yes, right?
You have that simpatico. That's the word. See, the words eventually come to the old brain of Chris Voss, and that's why people watch the show. They're like, let's see if he's going to get it. So tell us who your clients are, because this is going out live on LinkedIn. Of course, we put on LinkedIn and everything in our big group. What sort of clients that might be out there that are thinking, would I need to use Blake Rian Consulting? What sort of clients do you work with, and who is the prospective client for you?
So the majority of the clients that we work with are global corporations or are national corporations, and they have locations all over the world or all over the United States. We also really target, the way that our business is built is any company is going to have a department that we staff and we can fill positions for, whether it's HR, customer service, finance roles. We staff for a really large global pharmaceutical company where we do scientists and automation engineers, down to we have a hospitality division where we're working with corporate catering companies who sit on large corporate campuses, and we're filling anything from back of the house cooks up to GM and VP level type positions. Wow. So we really, set a scale to fit into all businesses. One thing I hear a lot, and we're trained as, in large corporations, is we're your subject matter experts, right? So we're your IT SMEs. Well, my philosophy, honestly, on that is you can't really be a subject matter expert unless you've been in that position. Sure, you know a lot about it and you can speak to your experiences, but you're really not an expert in that. So I get this question all the time, well, what do you specialize in? And I always say, we don't have one singular specialization. We want to go into your organization and say, hey, where are you hiring? If it's in our wheelhouse, we'll tell you. If it's something we don't think we're going to be successful at, we'll tell you that too. Because it doesn't make any sense for us to take on business and fail.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
we're very honest about it.
Yeah. And it's good because it helps your relationship because if you're working with somebody and you have no idea what you're doing, that's not going to be a good thing. And eventually everyone finds out,
Yeah.
what you're doing, but, no, I like this approach. What do you see going on in the hiring market right now in recruiting market? I think layoffs, especially in tech, are still kind of escalating, aren't they?
They are, and it's really an interesting time right now because I feel like when you see what's going on in the market, some people jump to, oh my gosh, we need to just start laying off a bunch of people. And usually they start with, the sales teams, the marketing teams, and kind of trickle down from there. But then you also see companies who are, trusting that everything's just going to kind of ramp back up and they're holding steady. Right now is a great time for corporations to bring in companies like ours, because if they don't want to carry the large overhead, or if they're not sure, what the next 6 months are going to look like, we can have contractors in there who are technically our W-2 employees. And then when they do start to trickle down, then they can let those people go without having to worry about, unemployment or, people getting upset about getting laid off, because then we can also transition those people into other areas.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty important. It's kind of a weird, yeah, you're right. It's a weird job market where, I just saw that some city approved a $20 minimum wage or something somewhere in America. And it's funny because I have all these pictures that I posted on Facebook of when everyone was having the arguments over, should we pay $15 an hour? Shouldn't we pay, and there was this big argument going on in 2018, 2019. And here we are now, people are competing, the numbers are being pushed to $20 an hour. And then you've got these layoffs over here, but then everywhere I still go in my city, there's please, we need to hire you. Like I went to one of my favorite restaurants the other night, and the list of employee job titles was just it was like this long. It was like about 8 or 10 different job titles. I was surprised that he was working there when I went in. I'm like, you guys have cooks in here still, and somebody working the front thing. But at one point, we had a restaurant in my local town here where they offered patrons $100 gift certificate if you referred somebody. And I was like, wow, man, for $100, I'll go out and work the streets. Hey, do you need a job? Let's go. I got a place for you, man. I'm making $5,000 a month filling positions here,
Right?
It was crazy. I'm like, wow, I can get a few dinners for free over this joint. If I just, I wish I had more nephews and nieces that were hiring age. But yeah, it's crazy now. It's, you got some people laying off, you got plenty of people hiring, and I imagine Florida is going to be a big hiring market here coming up soon.
I know. And I've been watching, we have friends who live out there. So it's been really scary and sad to hear about, what's going on and when it touched down, seeing it on the news. And it's just kind of a surreal thing to see, if you will.
It is surreal. I have a lot of friends down there. There was someone on TikTok I was watching. She was literally in her living room. She's in an inflatable boat with her dogs and cats, and she's in her living room, and her living room's about 4 feet to 5 feet in water, and everything is floating around her. And thankfully, she's kind of safe in this inflatable boat. The fact that you live in a state where you go, we got to have an inflatable boat for the living room, tells you what you need to know. But it's going to be a huge explosion of workers and stuff that have to go down there, construction people, and that should be, that should probably spur other industries, I think, around the nation. They're going to have to hire to kind of support rebuilding Florida and all the work they do. So that's probably going to make things go crazy for a while too with hiring. It's really weird, it's like you'll hear about layoffs over here, and then you're like $20 an hour over here, and you're just like, it's like, what? It's like,
well,
crazy.
That's funny because it's such an argument too now about remote versus going back to work, right?
That's
how many people want to go back to work, but how many people are absolutely not? I really like this remote job, and then they're leaving jobs because the businesses are saying, no, it's time to come back to work. Everyone's coming back. So it's, I'm curious when it's going to kind of all just start to simmer a little bit more. I'm anticipating probably within the next year, we should start seeing a lot more. But I think we're going to get to a point where there are a lot of corporations, they're going to have to just require people have to come back on campus.
Mm-hmm. I was going to add, that was my next question for you, the whole remote issue. You know, we've had a number of scholars on the show, authors, people at universities who written books. I think Remote Incorporated is one that comes off the top of my head, where we've had consultants on that they specialize in teaching corporations remote, how to do remote right. What do you see in that market where, I mean, it seems like there's some companies that are just going to have to stick with it or have a hybrid of some type. What sort of struggle are you seeing companies go through to try and navigate these waters?
You know, I think it depends on the industry, right? So like tech, for example, it's a lot easier for a lot of tech people as project managers, program managers to work remotely because they're really just on their computer the whole time anyways. But then you have other teams that support those people for like events, for example, where they have to be walking the site. They have to be, working with other vendors on the site. So I think that, I mean, personally, I don't love working remote. I really like getting up, getting my coffee on the way to work, going into my office. So being remote is a struggle for me personally. I honestly tend to find things to do that I shouldn't be doing. But I mean, I think that companies are just going to have to at some point either adopt a hybrid model or, take a stand of, look, this was, during a pandemic, this is what we had to do to transition to make sure everybody stayed working. Now it's time, you have to come back to the campus and work.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see, because I think you're going to see the big guys are obviously going to be the ones who kind of start leading that transition. People are going to look to Amazon and Microsoft and Facebook and Google and kind of start positioning from there.
Yeah. Do you find when you talk to jobs prospects, that's a high value for them in jobs they're finding? You find that people are like, hey, I really would prefer a remote job as opposed to the other?
We do for the higher level roles. Absolutely. And that's one thing that people we've seen they're starting to negotiate in their offers is, can I have a hybrid? Can I work from home 2 days a week?
Wow.
Can I pick the 2 days? Can it be flexible depending on the week?
Wow.
And so we have seen a lot of that. Now, when you're working with, we work with a really amazing design company. It's very niche, and we place production painters and really high-end architectural designers, excuse me. They have to be on site. So there really isn't the option for that. So it really just kind of is honestly position dependent.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of the people that we've had on, because we've had a lot of people on talking about remote for the last 2 years, and it's kind of interesting. Is it true that many people's values have kind of changed? They're kind of looking for after COVID. They're kind of looking for more work value or work. They're looking to be appreciated more. I think some of the studies said that they didn't feel appreciated, or they weren't connected to the values of the office, or they just felt like they were working for something that didn't really bring their life value, and maybe wasn't with their core attributes or their core interests. And they're like, I want to do something that I kind of enjoy more. Are you seeing that? Is that true with all the studies that I've seen on it?
It's interesting. I started seeing that trend probably about 3.5 years ago, before COVID, where people just started to really, I think the old kind of, and I feel like I'm dating myself, but the adage is that we learned in business in corporate America, even when I was younger, was you have a boss, the boss, says this is it, you fall in line, and you don't ask questions, right? Like that was it. And now it's the platform has changed so much where they're like, no, we're not going to do that. If I don't agree with you, I'm going to push back, and you have to acknowledge my feelings. You have to make me feel like I'm special. And I see that a lot, especially now with everything going on. And I don't want to say it's a sense of entitlement, because I think everybody should feel heard and feel valued. But I do think there are some instances where, it's work. It's not personal. You have to separate the two, and you have a job to do. But I think that people, especially with like work-life balance is a big thing for a lot of people. They want to feel like you know, value their home life, and they want to have that balance between the two, where they can shut off their phone at a certain time or their email.
You know, it's interesting to me. I've worked at home since 2004. When I ejected my last partner, I was able to run our companies from home and from other states, in fact. And so I've always enjoyed it, but I don't have kids at home, and I just have my dogs, so I don't have to. I remember when I was dating someone who had kids at home. I was like, I'm going in on Saturdays. So the quality of my life, I've always kind of enjoyed the work at home quality of life. And so when everyone joined me in 2020, I was like, I don't see what the big deal is. I've been here for a while, guys. And you know, I've had a lot of friends post about how their lives are quantitatively better. You know, my friends in California, you know, they'd spend 4 hours a day on a freeway. You know, on the 405 going back and forth to work. They recovered those 4 hours. I think I do better work working from home, but I'm guilty, like you said, of getting distracted. But I tend to do all my work throughout the day and stuff. You know, when I wrote about this in my book, you know, one of my last CEOs who taught me the final training that I needed, he would always come into wearing shorts every day and flip-flops, and you know, a stream of food down the front of his shirt. And I said to him one day, I go, how come you get away with dressing? You run a multi-million-dollar company. How come you dress this way? And he said, have you seen my accountant who wears the stuffy suit all the time? He's on his fifth triple heart bypass, or quadruple, or fifth bypass, whatever that is. He's going in for that surgery. He goes, when, you know, I come in relaxed, I can work 18 hours a day. I can wear my shorts. I think better. I function better. I just feel more relaxed. I can create better. And so I started wearing shorts and flip-flops. And so I think people, when they work from home, they feel less stuffy. There was a recent thing where someone wrote that when people started going back in the office, when COVID started lifting a little bit, they ended up just socializing. They were using it for a socializing thing, and just people standing around the water thing, catching up. All right, how are the kids and stuff? So yeah, it's an interesting conundrum of work, and you know, you're like, are those people working? Some companies have come up with monitoring software. Have you seen a lot of companies adopting monitoring software?
Yep, and they can see. So, and you know, a lot of agencies actually do this when they
really?
would have. This goes back 10 years, where they would, you know, that's when they started using VPNs, because then they could see when their staff was logging in, when they were inactive, when they were logging off, and they can track it more. But I think that is a big, you know, question with some corporations too, is what are my teams doing? You know, if we're not hitting numbers, are they being productive? Are they out, you know, having mimosas at brunch? Like, what? And then you have people who it works better for them, like you said, because they're not commuting, but they're actually using that time and making the most out of it. And then you have, you know, the people who do that, plus that they just never turn off. I mean, for me, obviously I'm the owner, but still, I mean, I'm 7 days a week. I'm working in some capacity. So
yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really matter where I am.
That's the fun of being an entrepreneur. Is you know, you dream business. You just
yeah.
You eat, sleep, dream business. Sometimes it's a little bit much. I remember years ago we had a bunch of people that were some Chinese investors that hired me to build a mortgage company for them, and it was so nice to leave at 5 o'clock and go, "This is your problem, not mine."
Right.
And I was like, "So this is what it's like to work for other people. This is kind of nice." I'll go back and do my stuff. So, you know, it's leaving at 5 o'clock is nice, but you know, I think, like I say, I mean, I think from some of the interviews that we've done of the people who've done remote studies, a lot of universities and stuff, professors did studies on this, and they found that people will do their work throughout the day. Sometimes they may take a break to go, change diapers or something like that, whatever they need to do, feed the kids. But it seems to give them more value. So it's kind of extraordinary. What are some other things you're seeing in the business that you want to talk about that people should be aware of, or companies should be aware of, that are looking to work with you guys?
I think a lot of the stuff we're seeing, it is very industry specific. I think it's interesting right now that as much as things are reopening, the hospitality industry is struggling so much finding people.
Wow.
And I mean, we're, kind of what we're seeing in that industry is a lot of it does go back to the wages. And, we had an example is, we had a job posted for a dishwasher for a corporate catering company. And I think it paid like $21 or $22 an hour, full time, 6 to 3, Monday through Friday.
Oh.
And someone responded to the ad and said they would take it if we paid them $35 an hour.
Holy crap.
Pay me $35 an hour.
I'm quitting my job and going dishwashing, man.
So I think that's where all of that kind of comes into play, and it becomes a real struggle, not only for big corporations, but the mom and pop shops. I mean, you look at these restaurants like the one you said in your hometown, if it's not a chain, that puts them out of business. They can't afford the overhead of it. So we're really trying to, as we're getting candidates in now, educate them not only on, yes, 100%, you deserve a livable wage. You should be able to pay your bills and take care of your family. But you also have to have a little bit of realistic expectations around the industry and the type of position that you're going into.
That's crazy, man. 30, you said $35 an hour?
$35 an hour.
To wash dishes.
Right?
That's
and it's not like a restaurant, it's a corporate kitchen. So you're just like rinsing and putting them in a dishwasher.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, wow, man, that's crazy. I might start looking at janitor listings or something. I'll give me a night job working as a janitor.
Right?
$35 an hour. I mean, that's that'll help with the taxes every year I pay. Damn, that's crazy, man. I mean, it'd probably have to be a while before I would hit that mark, but maybe I should go work for someone else. But it sounds like it's getting there. That's crazy. What are some other things that you feel are unique about your company that other companies don't provide, that really make up the difference in your relationship with clients?
Well, one of the things that I always like to point out is that we are a certified WBENC woman-owned business. And then we have been listed as a preferred diversity supplier 3 years in a row by staffing industry analysts. And then we are also a SBA certified woman-owned small business. So any corporation right now, as you know, they're really hitting that diversity and wanting to have that percentage of diversity suppliers. We hit 2 out of 3 of the top ones. So,
awesome.
It's for lack of a better term, you get a nice tax break if you work at this.
There you go. Tax breaks are good.
But really, honestly, I mean, I always feel like I sound like a broken record, because it really, for me, it is about partnering and finding that right fit. And you'll see on my website, you'll see on my signature, I always say, and I tell my clients, as new clients, when I talk to them, for me, it's not about putting someone in the seat. It's about finding the right fit. So I really take a lot of care and invest not only business into my clients, but because of that relationship piece, I also invest personally. And so I get excited. I always reach out to my clients if I see that they're doing something amazing with their business, if they're growing, if there's acquisitions, if I think it's something they might be interested in, I'm sending them emails about stuff. It really just is that one-on-one. And I think, the age that we're in and the more we get around social media and technology, you really see a lack of that. Like, you start seeing it's really more, you have apps now where you can order contractors through your phone and someone just shows up, versus, you don't have that one-on-one with somebody saying, I really understand what you need. I get that, going on your phone is easy and quick, but if somebody doesn't show up, who's there to help you? If somebody isn't doing well, who's there to help you? If they're not the right fit, who's there to help you find that person? So it really is the foundation of my business.
There you go. There you go. Makes all the difference. Anything more you want to touch on or tease out before we go about who you guys are and what you do?
So we are very excited that we are growing. So we have an office in Washington. We have one in Newport Beach, California. And then we have one in Austin. So we are starting to spread into the Austin market. So all of you companies out there that I see who keep moving out to Austin, reach out to us. We'd love to work with you. No, I'm really excited. You know, my business is growing. I am acquiring a lot of amazing clients. That's my goal, is to keep my teams growing and spread more nationally. It's funny, you were talking about wearing shorts. I was listening to one of your podcasts this morning, and I was like, because I've done a couple books, but I said, maybe I should start a new book, and it could be Leading in Leggings.
There you go. Leading in Leggings. Do I need to wear leggings, or is that? Do I need to wear leggings? Evidently, our fan base loves the concept there. So it looks like that's approved.
There you go. Perfect. I'm on it, guys.
Leading in Leggings, the new book on how to lead with leggings. I should probably wear leggings. Don't leggings make you thinner? Is that the thing that makes you thinner?
No, they're just comfortable. I mean, honestly,
they're just comfortable?
I live in leggings.
Oh, see, I don't know what leggings are.
But they're like cotton pants that are like the most comfortable thing in the world.
Okay. Sounds like I should probably wear those during winter. When I hit winter, I have to wear socks. That's the difference in winter for me. I'm still wearing shorts around my house, and then when I go out, people look at me funny and they go, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, I just really don't care. So
I live in, honestly, Vuori is one of my favorite brands, and I actually got my husband into it. Funny backstory, we actually went to high school with the founder, but they're like the most amazing leggings, and then he wears like all the running shorts and stuff, and they're just like, they're so comfortable. It's insane.
Really?
And so I really do live in that and my Reef flip-flops most of the time. So
I'm wearing flip-flops right now. There you go. It's comfortable. You know, I'm more creative. I can work longer. You know, you put me in a stiff, starchy, suit and dress shirt and tie, and I'm all, proper and stuff. For some reason, I stress out more dressed like that. I don't know why. My old CEO that taught me, Forrest Baker, he was right. And I even have the dribble down the shirt sometimes. I went out last night to the store and I looked down and I went, my God. But, when you have a face like this, that's Brad Pittish, that George Clooney calls me, for beauty tips, girls just throw, underwear at me whenever I go out. It's a rough life. So, a little thing I've got to that's kind of the reason I wear the, put the food down the front. It's to kind of offset my 10 hotness. We all know that.
Try to keep them at bay a little bit, right? So you can handle it.
Yeah. Right now, half my audience is like, what is he? Is he on drugs? Anyway, guys, I'm just on coffee. Well, it's been wonderful to have you on the show. Thank you for coming on very much. We really appreciate it. It's been very insightful. I'm learning more about what's going on in the job market. It's really interesting. It's a really interesting time these days. Give us your .com so people can find you on the interwebs, please.
Yes. So our website is www.blakerianconsulting.com. Again, Rian is Rian. And you can follow me on Instagram. It's Suze_Justice, and LinkedIn and Facebook is Blake Rian Consulting.
There you go. And thanks to my audience for tuning in. We certainly appreciate you guys being here. Watch for her forthcoming book, Leading with Leggings or something.
Leading in Leggings.
Leading in Leggings. And flip-flops. I think you should add flip-flops to that, because then you have to include me.
That'll be my tribute to you, Chris.
I don't know. Maybe you need to send me some Amazon affiliate links to the leggings. Maybe this is some. Do men wear leggings? Is that a man thing?
I'm telling you, Vuori has like these amazing men's version of it.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'll check it out for this winter so that I can make sure everything stays warm. Thanks so much for tuning in. Go to youtube.com/Chris Voss. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss. Watch for our upcoming shows and the amazing guests we do. They just keep getting better and better. And also go to LinkedIn as well. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe, and we'll see you guys next time.